Hey YouTube, Mochismo Eugene, another video from Exit Strategy. Welcome. I've been away for a little while, a little under the weather, but everything's going to be okay. I want to give you guys a message. In times past, I have mentioned somewhat what I'm going to talk about today. I haven't been as stern about it as I am going to be tonight on this one, and that is get out of the church. Get out of what you believe is the formalized church. Get out of the formalized religion. Get out of the cultic groupings in the walls of a church. And I'm saying that sternly and I'm saying it directly. I've already made a video in times past. Don't go to the church, go to God. When you've been abused by a narcissist, the church can't help you because what you're ended up doing is going into basically the church is pretty much part of the problem as to why you haven't been awakened until now, if you were involved in a church. And in my case, the church is the very places where I began to become awakened. I met the woman that I married, who was a covert narcissist. I met her in a church. Prior to meeting her, I had been contemplating, and I know now looking back, God was unctioning me to wake up. He was working on me. He was waking me up to a lot of the things that I would not have been able to see, in the church. So, or had I remained in the church. So I've been contemplating, backing away from the church because it just seems like everything was getting clouded in my life. Because as I've told you guys before, growing up in a hypocritical church, which most of them are, if not all of them, say one thing and do another. We can be hypocritical in and of ourselves, by ourselves. You get into these groupings, you get into these associations of sort, and you find out real quick that you don't have the clarity that you need to see the things you need to see, because everything inside of the walls of the church are telling you, go to God, go to God, go to God. Now that's the truth of the matter, but what we don't realize is that these very people who are telling us, let's pray, let's go to God about it, they want to intervene on behalf of God for your good. And there where the problem comes in, that they began to start stealing God's glory. And God said, I'll share my glory with no man. Now you may say, Mochismo, how do you know that these people's hearts is fixated on glory, taking God's glory? Well, if you can remember back, anybody who has been awakened from narcissistic personality disorder, anybody that can tell me that the church helped awaken them and was there open arms to help them navigate through this narcissistic abuse, leave a comment. I will believe zero. I went to the pastor of this church, actually had moved out of town, out of the state, prior to me being awakened. But when I was awakened, I reached out to him and I recorded the whole conversation. And I've been recording instances and incidents for a long time. And I've read one time or listened one time on a video where someone said if you find yourself having to record someone, the strong chances are that they are a narcissist. Now, narcissists will do that too. They will record you, especially when it's coming towards the discard phase. They devalue you, and when you begin to start waking up and you start to rationalize the irrational, crazy stuff, the crazy making, you begin to speak logically. Then they gaslight you, get you upset, and then they record you acting out. And then this way they can show this to anyone who will listen, which is most people. This will play the narrative out that you're the crazy one, you're unhinged, you're unstable. And so going back to the church, no one have I ever heard that went to the church when they awakened from this narcissistic abuse. Had that church say, yeah, we are aware of this and we're going to help shepherd you, and we're going to chaperone you and pray and intercede that this demonic force be dealt with. And so I'm here to tell you guys today, and the reason why I'm telling you guys to get out of the church is because the church is not going to do you any good in this regard. The church is a big part of the problem why you were asleep so long. You were going along to get along. And so, sorry, camera is messing up here this morning, guys, but we'll get through it. Anyway, I emphatically tell you guys to get out of the church and try to get closer to God as best as you can. Get into the Word of God if you are a Bible-believing person. And if you're not, just pray to God to help you understand His will and His ways. Apart from this fellowship, you're better off starting out in the Bible on your own. You come to these channels, a lot of us are spiritually based people. We base our life on the book. A lot of us don't, but we are all unified here. We don't sit here and play favorites. If you're not Bible believing, we don't sit here and we don't sit here and judge. We don't hold anyone in judgment here. We each individually could have our own belief systems or the lack thereof, but we share one common bond. We share a bond of what we've gone through that is undeniably synonymous with these monsters. They are not going to change. They're not going to get better. In fact, they're going to get progressively worse. If you look at society today, God is exposing all the churches and all of these ministers of disbelief who have been using the church as a smokescreen to perpetuate their agenda, to lure people away from God, and it becomes all about money, and it becomes all about keeping you asleep. I just caught wind of Joel Osteen that had a woman come into the church maybe 3 days ago. It was Sunday here. I think it was a Sunday service. She came in, Hispanic woman, with her 7-year-old son with a trench coat on, had a long rifle, and she began to shoot inside of the church. However, they were able to subdue this lady. She was deceased on the scene, but the son got shot in the head, and he, last time I read, was in critical condition. I pray that he pulls through. I don't know the update. It's just a grim situation. And there was another individual male got shot in the leg or the foot, I believe. But this whole thing here is because this lady supposedly Joel Osteen fathered a child from her. This is alleged. And go back and listen to Joel Osteen when he talks to the media about this tragedy. There is a thing called body language, and I study that a lot. There's a guy on YouTube that does it. And the humping of the shoulders, he's dismissing, he's distancing himself from this woman when he speaks about her. And he said a lady that was deceased or is deceased. Those are the two differentiations of how people try to distance themselves from having any connection with this person. So it's a lot more complex than that, but it's not. If you understand the dynamics of, humping the shoulders, not looking into the camera, no eye contact, shrugging the shoulders a lot, and it just means that this person really is trying to distance themselves from any relation or accountability or connection with this individual. So, and he's just calm, cool, and collective as always, smiling like a possum. These people are demonic. They are demonic, and Satan can smile at the camera while using God's name in vain and perpetuating their agenda. And I'm here to tell you, I'll stand on it until the day I die. get away from this church. These churches mean you no good. And this is coming from a Christian. Get out of the church. You're better off coming to these channels here where we are talking about narcissistic personality disorder, because this is AKA Jezebel spirit. This is what the Bible speaks about. If you know about Jezebel, she chased down the prophet. I want to say Jeremiah, but I'm not literally correct about my Bible as I should be. But the point is, she chased down this prophet to no end, almost like King Saul did with David, relentlessly. See, when people are vexed of a spirit of demonism, they will chase you down relentlessly. Just like a narcissist, they will go in at you until there's no resolve. And so you have to realize these people are not on the same mindset as you and I are. They don't know when to say when. They have an agenda. They are recruited by a power greater than them. And once you look at it like that, it is not them that is being controlled by this. They are being controlled. It is not them in and of themselves that are being controlled by the spirit. The spirit is controlling them. So keep that in mind, and you'll understand that this is nothing to be played with. This is nothing to take lightly. And I just believe in my heart the churches are no good for you when you're coming out of this narcissistic abuse. These channels, I guarantee you, you will get the resolve that you're looking for. You just have to stay connected to these channels. Isolate yourself. Isolate yourself. And when you find yourself getting distraught or withdrawn to the point where these channels become heavy on your heart, they become burdensome, it becomes like a weight on your shoulders, that's when you know you're really, really, truly trying to kill the ego. And if you have to take a day or two away from videos, by all means do that. We can become addicted to these videos to the point where this becomes our life work here. Take time for yourself. Isolate yourself. Go into prayer. Go into meditation. Exercise. Eat right. Go for walks. Get connected with nature. Make people miss you. Make people miss you. Don't ever think because you isolate yourself you're better than anyone. You are trying to become better than you are right now. You're trying to better yourself. And so that's what I wanted to tell you guys, man. As I said, I was a little under the weather. I was going to go for a walk in the park, but I don't want to risk, getting worse. I'm feeling a little better today, but I'll be back to new in no time at all. So it's just so much I would like to say to you guys, man, but I'm making no apologies about this. I'm sternly warning you guys to get out of the church. These churches that you've been a part of for all your life. And the reason why I need you to get out of the church, because guess what? When they miss you and they inquire why you're not attending anymore, you just emphatically let them know you're spending time with God. And you will see real fast that these people don't want no part of you. That being said, bless.